Our main topic for today is enabling better decision-making with software integration. Hi everyone, I'm Georgiana and welcome back to QTalks. Today I have with me my colleague for over 9 years, Serban. Serban, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi everybody. I am Serban Cociuba. I'm a software developer and aspiring software architect in the recent months. I've been with the company for closing in on 10 years, specifically in the Corax project and the logistics area. About 9.5 years. Shortly after I joined the company, I was assigned to the project. I think that's as much as I can. That's relevant to share about me. Yeah.
We're glad to have you, Serban, with us.
Thank you.
Our main topic for today is enabling better decision-making with software integration. And coming to this topic, I would like to ask you the first question is,
Right.
What is system integration in logistics?
Okay, so in logistics and in generally, system integration means interfacing multiple systems, having them communicate with each other and working in unison to achieve your desired goal. Specifically for logistics, we have, for example, the WMS, which is basically your warehouse management system. That's what it stands for. It can interface, in our case, with a what's called a material flow control system. That's basically the
Supply?
machinery.
No?
You can have also supply chain as well, but what I was referring to is the machinery which moves the goods around the warehouse. You have your conveyor belts, you have your cranes, and other specialized PLC nodes is what they're called. You could have also a yard management system which manages your trucks, your parking lots, who is where, who is coming, who is leaving, all that kind of stuff. And basically all these systems work together to enhance your operations, make them more seamless, flow smoothly, and ensure a good turnover at the end of the day.
And how is this related to the data within the warehouse?
Well, data is basically what drives your decisions and your operations. You can look at ways you can optimize various operations like waiting times for the trucks in your yard, or analyzing which of the goods are more seasonal and then preparing for the respective seasons. For example, ice cream tends to flow faster in the summer or in the hot seasons. Likewise, frozen goods are always good.
For instance, based on also my experience, tracking the data, tracking how much a good stays in the warehouse.
Right. Yeah.
Through how many hands does it go until it reaches the end customer?
Right.
Having it for how long, when it expires, when not.
Yeah, sure. You want to avoid having expired goods
Indeed.
in your warehouse, then having to clean up mold and.
Circling back to our topic, what are data silos and why do they persist in logistics? For instance, what I understood about this topic is that the data silos is the lack of communication between the systems, like between the warehouse system itself and the transport
So you mean
management.
silo as an isolated?
Yeah.
Well, that's where again integration comes into play. You want to make sure that every area of your operation can benefit from data that maybe at first sight might seem unrelated, but can influence your decision making in various aspects.
For instance, if I'm correct, when we started with our project with Corax, we had that main key in mind, and that's why we also made Corax cloud-based, right? If I'm correct, cloud-based solutions are one of the preventive methods to don't have data silos.
Yeah, it's easier to integrate them because you have them all in the cloud, and generally you have your ease of connecting services between each other, as opposed to being on premises where you have your physical hardware and then you have to manage all of your IT infrastructure, all your networking stuff, and make sure everything can communicate with each other. It definitely takes off that concern off your mind and off your back.
Indeed. And what we've also built is the API integrations to make it easier to communicate with other systems, like third-party systems.
Even third-party systems. The customers may have their own business intelligence, may have their own other software that they do reporting on. And for example, our VMS enables communication with said third parties, exposes certain APIs, and it's just up to the customers to use them if they
desire. And of course, that also helps us in not having data losses and making the communication more smoothly between what we have in the warehouse, what they have in our warehouses, and so on.
Yep.
Also having our centralized data warehousing, because you've also reached that topic, but I'm not sure, do we use data lakes, for instance, to have the centralized data?
I'm not sure as to what extent, but I've heard it's something that we're moving towards. But at the very current state, I don't think actually in production we're probably just starting to develop it on the development side and seeing how we can integrate it, how we can replace our current solution. I think at the moment we're only using Data Factory and something like that. But we're moving towards that
goal.
Yeah.
Basically making everything more smooth and always continuously staying ahead of the market. So to not have a deprecated solution that we constantly use for several years, we always tend to go to the newest thing that helps us protect our data and keep it maintainable and have it easily to be accessed. For instance, I believe that's why we also now started using AI. We integrated AI in our development process so that we are able to develop faster, have easier solution to maintain, and accommodate new customers, new features, new information easier. Correct?
Right. Yeah, you want to stay updated with the latest technology, otherwise you're going to be playing catch up in a few years or maybe even less at the current rate of developments.
Let's shift a bit to the last question I had for you. Is what are the main benefits of integration?
Talking about system integration? Yeah, so I think I managed to highlight a few at the beginning, but easier facilitates communication between various systems, which enables them to work in unison and basically makes your operations more streamlined. And also avoiding the data silo issue you mentioned, and even eliminating the manual work of, for example, if these systems were not integrated, somebody would have to kind of look at two screens, so to say, and say, okay, I get this information here, I get this information here. I gotta connect them and do correlations between them and then maybe make business decisions based on that. If they're integrated, then that is taken care of for you. Not the decision making itself, but the correlation between various data points or various occurrences within your warehouse. So generally it's supposed, in general terms, it's supposed to make your life easier and
reduce human errors.
Yeah, make your business more efficient. And that comes in with a lot of things, like you said, reduce human errors, speed up operations, you name it. Just at the end of the day, you should be making more money.
Indeed. I know I said it was the last question, but it was last question on the topic, a big topic in general.
All right.
I want to switch a bit to Corax case studies, for instance. How did cloud-based solution help us?
So as opposed to an on-premises solution, a cloud-based solution is easier to scale up, easier to deploy, easier to manage costs. By scaling up, I mean it's easier to add more resources or give more power to your resources. Easier to deploy. You don't have to go and make the purchases for separate servers and all the network cabling and all the other infrastructure stuff. You just do clicks in your cloud provider and they provide the infrastructure for you.
And you don't have to travel. Everything is we can do it from your home, basically.
Right. You don't have a large capital expense right at the beginning, as in purchasing all these various pieces of hardware I mentioned. You typically go by a pay-as-you-go pricing. So if you need a more powerful CPU for a couple of days because you're expecting a large influx of stocks or large orders being delivered, you can just do a temporary scale up for that period, and then you're only priced for the more powerful resources for that period, and then you revert back to your usual scale. Versus if you were on premises, you would have to actually buy stronger hardware, and then when you don't need it, you're left with the stronger hardware. I mean, you could sell it back, but that's overhead for you, and you're still losing some market value.
From everything you've said, we've learned a lot. So we've learned a lot about Azure, about how the domain itself works, how we can support different clients, and we can even provide solutions based on the experience we've got with this project. What should be the top signs that you need to have an integrated system or an integrated strategy, so to say?
Okay. Well, if you find yourself using multiple softwares to manage your business, like I said, if you have your VMS, right? Because you're doing logistics. Okay, that's fine. If then you find yourself adding a YMS or a MFCS or something for supply chain management, if you find yourself, you keep adding software and they're just not communicating at all between each other, of course, then you have to consider finding a integration strategy, because that will make your life a whole lot easier versus, like I said, having multiple applications and you're just independently working in each other, but there is no connection between them. There is no correlation.
And everything you just said is also the decision-making process that needs to take place at the beginning of a project. So you need to think far ahead. Okay, what is my end goal? I want to integrate this. How will they communicate? And basically, that's also should be a part of the decision-making to have the integrated system. So once you think, okay, you see how many,
as much as you can forecast, you should do it and prepare for it. But if your business grows along the way and you find yourself, okay, I might add this, then sure, that also happens.
Indeed. If you were to talk about business value and results, how can we quantify integration in terms of efficiency and numbers?
Ooh, that's a difficult question. I don't actually have numbers for this, but
from an efficiency perspective, I believe we are able at this point to deliver updates and new functionalities more quickly, as opposed to if we would have them on premise. Basically, having new deploys in production every 1 month, 2 months, or 3 months, whichever the frequency is already giving the end client extra benefits. So I believe that's one of the points.
Yeah, certainly makes for faster deploys and faster development.
And communication with the client, because we also get feedback quite fast.
Yeah.
So when basically our efficiency and the software's efficiency have increased, having this amount of knowledge and having this experience.
Right.
And also having them integrated.
Yeah, so you answered the question more than
Yeah, sorry.
No problem. But I don't really have specific, like I said, numbers, or I can't say you're going to be 10% better or you're going to be 20% better. But you will see improvements in a lot of areas.
Indeed.
Generally, what you want in these days, speed is pretty critical. So the faster you can respond to changes, the faster you can deliver developments, the faster you can develop. It's all about that. You want to beat the market, so to say.
True, but I will also say time, because you do save time having them integrated. Because you do everything in one go. You have all of the information in one place. So you win. So not in we don't have, as you said, numbers, but you win in time, you win in efficiency, you win in speed.
Yeah.
How is this all related to better decision making? I think we've also hit a bit this point.
Okay. Yeah.
Everything we've discussed about here, we need to take them all into account to have a good decision at the end of the day. But when making those decisions, we need to be aware of all of this. And I believe both of us, and along with our colleagues from the logistics department, can provide this, right?
Yeah, so good decision making is based on how much information you have and, of course, how smart you are. But the more information you have, the better informed your decision will be. So
And the fact that we can provide that information, and if, for instance, we have a new client and they don't know where to start, but they heard about this, and the fact that we can support this is really, really cool and really nice.
Yeah, because we have quite some experience at this point, and like you said, for a client that pretty much doesn't know where he's going or what he wants to do, we can bring some use cases or showcase some examples like this is what you can do, this is what we've done for other people, and then you can kind of give him a direction, help him understand where he wants to take his business.
You very well said, well said. What are the advantages of working with a software partner when it comes to integration?
A software partner like Microsoft, for example, or something like that? Well, typically, if you're in a partnership program, you get some freebies. So you might get some discounts on certain services, and you tend to get a higher level of support, more priority support. So whenever you're having issues with their resources or their technologies, you as a partner, you even might get a direct person of contact within Microsoft, for example, to which you can reach out and say, okay, we're having this issue with this resource. What are some tips? What are some guidelines on how to handle this or how to better implement this service for our customers? And yeah, definitely, it brings you closer to your cloud provider, for example, as following the example. There's quite a few benefits in having a partnership.
Perfect. How can a dedicated team facilitate this part, especially when it comes to the data?
A dedicated team of data analysts, for example, or something?
Of support, support from a software partner.
Okay. Again, they might provide you with
additional information. I mean, we know that sometimes there are downs, the servers are down or information is down from that side. But I think if we have them as software partners, we can ask them for faster solutions or for a plan B, for instance. How can we achieve this? How can we
of course, you
switch from a server to another, from an area to another?
Yeah, you get that consultancy that I mentioned. So if you go to your software partner and say, look, for us, this part of the business is critical, mission critical, as it's usually called. We cannot afford, or we want to avoid that at any cost, any downtime in this part of the software, for example, I don't know, data ingestion or something like that. And they will provide you with tips or guidelines how to architect your solution and how to introduce redundancy, backups, locally available backups, zone available backups, maybe database mirroring or any kind of practices that ensure you have as high of a SLA as possible, service level agreement, and then you are protected for, as they say, 99.99% of the cases, you'll have uptime.
Right, very well said, Serban. Let's make a conclusion.
Right.
Let's have a wrap on it. And basically, the main topic we've touched is why we have software integration and how it helps in our decision making to know about it and to discuss about it with our software providers. And in long term, basically, what are the benefits of it? So we've reached all of these topics, and I think we've gathered all the information. Thank you very much for joining me, Serban.
No problem. It was a pleasure.
And we'll see each other in the next talk.
Yeah, sure.
Bye bye.
Bye, everybody.